Howdy friends, I am in St. George. I'm gonna do some thrifting. I'm at the Switch Point thrift store here in St. George. We're gonna see what we can find. There it is behind me. Wish me luck, guys. I'm gonna start out with a little look-see in the hat and clothing section. I'm looking for vintage sports, especially, is what I would love to find, or band stuff. Not any of that, unfortunately, today. Just a bunch of generic stuff that, you know, isn't worth our time to flip, at least. The clothing, I found a lot of generic brands today. Kirkland, Signature, Van Heusen. Every time I looked at any button up, it seemed to be Van Heusen today. I don't know if you ever have days like that. Just nothing of any real value. I like this style. A lot of the 90s Wrangler stuff that is pinstripe, kind of cowboy pearl snap, I've been picking up. But I've been picking it up at the bins at pennies on the dollar. Here I would pick one up, but it would cost me $4. I think Dawn would be upset if I didn't pick this up. This is a Pirates of the Caribbean Mickey Mouse Disney Parks plush for $3. A little more than I want to pay, but it is cute. We're going to put this on Whatnot. I think we'll make a few dollars on it, even though we start the auctions at $2. So there's a risk we can immediately lose money. But, you know, without risk, there's no reward sometimes. And sometimes it's about just having cool stuff in your auctions. I like to check out this old Nerf stuff. Actually, I'm not sure how old this is, but vintage Nerf can sell for a lot of money. 90s, 80s, 70s stuff. This is newer, though, but I'm not going to end up getting this, unfortunately. Last time I was at this thrift, they had maybe 10 March of the Penguins, and now they have like 9. So one of these might have sold, but they have a ton of them. And the Notebook. These are kind of interesting. I love these old NBA, especially cassette tapes. Some of these still have the sealing, or the seal, which you're going to see a lot, where they look sealed. Ooh, actually, this is sealed. I thought it was going to be open on the bottom. I don't think these are going to be worth much, but I might check them out because they're very particular. The Kennedy years, I'm going to say no. 92, look at that. Just the artwork on that is cool. I might end up getting these. Dope. Listen, we'll look them up. I don't know. They're probably worth like $5 or $6, but I might just pick them up for a lot. A lot. So I gave myself a second to think about these. I don't think they're a good idea. I don't think there's much money in them. As interesting as they look, they're probably not going to sell. So I'm going to put them back. Got to do the right thing. Evan Commonwealth Picker really has cursed me with checking out all these VHSs that are sealed now. Ready to learn. A lot of this stuff, honestly, isn't worth it. But if you find the one gem, if you know what you're doing, I don't really know what I'm doing with these. I kind of have an idea what not to get, thankfully, but lots of board games. I don't deal with those because I don't want to count the pieces. Puzzles, I used to buy used ones, not anymore. Find a whole bag of nothing but the figures. I'd pick those up, but not just one or two. I've been reselling for a while now. I'm going on 12 years, I think, in March that I've been a reseller. And I have lost my patience for just meh thrift stores. There was nothing really good in there, unfortunately. I didn't have the patience to go through every single article of clothing. If I did, there probably would have been a few that I would have been, you know, able to buy and make a profit on. The plush at $3 was honestly a little too expensive, but I'm going to risk it, put it through Whatnot. We may make money, we may not. At least it'll be a cool item for Whatnot, so that has some value in and of itself. But, I mean, thrift stores in general. I know I'm known, especially on TikTok, for thrifting. I'm a little bit burnt out on thrift stores in general, except a little bit I'm stoked about DIs, because the DIs I could still find decent deals. I'm actually heading to a DI after this. I have hope. Typically when I go to this DI and the one, or there's two actually in Vegas, I'll come out with $30 or $40 worth of stuff. Back in the day in Utah at the DIs, when they were bringing out carts, which I think they might be doing again, when I stayed for hours, I would get a cart or two full of stuff. That makes a lot of sense to me, especially at good prices. It's a little bit tougher now. That's not an issue. It just means that there's, you know, it's time to focus on other ways to get items, like the Goodwill bins. Garage sale season, although it's still going in Vegas, it's kind of slowed down, but it's starting, I think, to pick back up. So I'm excited for that. So we're going to hit the other thrift store. Hope that I have a little better luck than one plush, but I just don't, I can't, it just doesn't make sense to me to stay in here for an hour, hour and a half, scrounging for, you know, 3-4 items. I'd rather move on to the DI and go on to the next place, see what I find. I don't know if you guys feel that way, but I just don't have the patience for mediocre thrift stores right now. I want to move on to something else and hopefully find some better stuff elsewhere. So we are at the Deseret Industry now. Dawn, are you ready? Are you ready? She's ready. I'm ready to find some deals because the last stop was not good. It's not a surprise where Dawn started the thrift trip. It's always at the plush section. The DI always has a great selection of plushes. So many of them to choose from. There wasn't a ton today, but she did end up finding a couple, so stay tuned. We'll show you. Here's a couple hats that I found today. This is for the Fiesta Bowl the Utes were in like 15 years ago, I think it is now. It ended up being just a little too dirty when I inspected it further, so I decided to pass on it. For the prices, I don't really want to spend the time cleaning these up. This is older, but also just a little messed up. Has a little bit too much wear for my taste, so I'm going to pass on it. This BYU colorway featuring the tan is from like 1999 to 2003, I believe. So technically vintage, just a little bit too much wear, sweat stains. I'm just going to stay away from that right now because I have a lot of different projects I'm working on, and I don't need to worry about cleaning a hat that's not going to be big money. This at first I thought was Golden State Warriors. It says I am the Warrior on it. Upon further inspection, it's a Six Flags hat. Must be one of the rides. I put it in the cart. I ended up putting it back. It just wasn't going for enough money. I didn't want to deal with it. I learned from Marcus of Dixon's Pickens, his channel's great, that Bass Pro Shop hats were in style. I think it's especially the orange ones. This one's a little beat up. Once again, the condition of a lot of these hats are not ideal. So I'm not going to deal with them if the condition isn't great. Just not worth the time to clean up. I mean, that might be a $10 or $15 hat, but I don't want to bother with the cleanup when there's other stuff to buy. Travis Matthews is definitely a brand to look out for. $6 is a little much on a plain white polo. I was going to get this, but once again, upon further inspection, later after I put it in the cart before I was heading out, it had a lot of sweat stainage on the collar, so I passed. This is just awesome. This is LRG. I've seen a lot of people at the bins pick these up, or at least look at them, the brand, and then this, just the patchwork's amazing, so I'm definitely going to get that. I've never sold one like it. We'll see how it does. Nike Pro I love, but it's $6. I'm not going to buy it. If that was at the bins, it'd be a pickup all day. Here's the part of the video where I try to get a creative, artistic shot of me looking through all the different shirts and then showing you how fast I can go. I spy with my little eye a Dallas Cowboy football jersey. Tony Romo looks pretty roached, and it's priced at 20 bucks. So that's not a good combination. A beat up old jersey that isn't like super vintage, that at a price that isn't good. This is the symbol for Zelda, Nintendo branded. $3 is a little much, considering I'm going to put this in my Whatnot auction and started it too. So there's a little bit of a risk there, but I'm willing to take it. I was going to get this. I ended up putting it back. It's an Under Armour USS Midway shirt. Kind of cool. Looked like I might have been able to get 12, maybe a little bit more, 10 to 15-ish. But I decided to put it back. Just wasn't quite there. I wasn't quite sold on it. This is similar, but I like this better. Sometimes it's just about what you like. Russell Athletic, a little bit newer. Kansas Jayhawks basketball shorts. I like basketball shorts a lot. I knew what this was from a mile away. The creamsicle Tampa Bay Buccaneers uniform. Unfortunately, of Josh Freeman, he was a football player basically for them, a quarterback that didn't pan out, played at Kansas State and then went there, played a couple seasons. It's kind of beat up. If that was like Tom Brady or one of the greats of Tampa Bay history, which they don't have a lot back from that era, it would have been worth buying, but I decided to pass. I can see this Oklahoma City Thunder logo from afar. This is $6, a little pricey. Adidas, I'm still going to buy it. I like flipping basketball shorts. At $6, I think I can get about 15 or 20 for this, plus shipping. You know Dawn, she always finds plushes. She's great at this. This is vintage Disneyland Walt Disney World. This is Scuttle from Little Mermaid. I'd forgotten about this character, but Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, that's my era of Disney cartoons, so it's a cool find. Also worth probably around 15-ish, plus shipping, maybe a little more. We'd never seen an ant like this before, plush-wise. Super cool. I love that ant. And Snoopy stuff does really well for us in lots and by itself on Whatnot. This is cool. Workwear stuff is really hot right now. It's $6. Just look at that. It's turquoise, pink, purple. Really nice. We should do pretty well on that. Only $6. I think we'll get like 25 plus. Having found that awesome jacket, both me and Don were inspired to look through these racks. We're seeing mostly kind of generic brands. I mean, you probably could make a few bucks on any of those if you get them at bin prices. But when you're paying, you know, $4, $5, $6, $7, $8 a pop at this thrift store at Deseret Industries, you have to be a lot more picky. So we're going to see what we see. We didn't find anything else but that one. Don did end up finding a Nike full zip hoodie at $6. This probably would have been worth it. We probably could have got about 15 or 20. I ultimately decided against it. I was talking a little earlier in this video, Dawn, about how I'm a little bit burnout, especially with like mediocre thrift stores. Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? The bins, I think, have spoiled us. What do you think?
Yes.
They have. We were in there, and I found some decent stuff. We spent $20. Oh, that's a lot. But $20 at the bins would have got us like a half a cart worth of stuff, maybe a little bit more. Roughly a half a cart worth of, you know, 20, 30 shirts maybe, a ton of plushes. It's hard. I'm telling you guys, and I say this almost every video, if you have a Goodwill bins near you, in the winter, especially when you don't have garage sales and flea markets as much, especially in different parts of the U.S., I would go to the bins if you can. It's worth a couple-hour trip if you plan it, right? Oh, yeah. We're going to go to the San Bernardino one again. They're like about, in the next couple weeks, which is like 3 hours from us. And it's like, what, 5 times as big as the Vegas one?
But it's all closed.
It's all closed. But here's the thing. I don't understand this about Vegas, but their bins is so small. The smallest by far. It's like part of their actual like headquarters in Vegas, which I get having a bins there because they bring stuff in and out, but they need another location. If you're listening to this, big Goodwill in Vegas, please get a bigger location. It's tough. But yeah, we're gonna go to our favorite part of our St. George trips. What is that?
The Indian cuisine.
Indian cuisine, Indian food. We only have it here. I finally, after years, like it took me years to get Dawn to even go to try Indian food with me, and now she's into it. It's always been one of my favorite foods, so we're gonna have a good time. I can't wait. I'm gonna get the hottest thing they have, and Dawn, of course, is gonna be a wimp and not do that, right? She's a wimp. Okay, guys, peace out. We'll see you next time. We're gonna go have some Indian food.